Welcome back to the day. Today we will learn about the explosive developments surrounding Sami Brady's devastating shock as her ex-husband E.J. DiMera embarks on a passionate romance with her mysterious acquaintance Kat Green, while dangerous secrets about E.J.'s covert ISA operations threaten to destroy everything he's worked so carefully to build. The shocking connection that changes everything. The intricate web of relationships in Salem has taken a dramatic turn as spoilers reveal the earth-shattering moment when Sami Brady discovers that her former husband E.J. DiMera has fallen deeply in love with Kat Green, a woman whose connection to Sami runs far deeper than anyone could have imagined. When Kat first laid eyes on Sami's photograph at Marlena's house, an inexplicable sense of familiarity washed over her, sparking a mystery that would soon unravel in the most unexpected ways. The revelation that both Kat and E.J. underwent extensive medical treatment at the same European rehabilitation facility creates a foundation for their bond that transcends mere coincidence, suggesting that their paths crossed during their most vulnerable moments of recovery and transformation. This shared experience in the sterile halls of the European Medical Center, where E.J. recovered from his own traumatic ordeal while Kat underwent her facial reconstruction surgery, planted the seeds of an attraction that neither of them fully understood at the time. The clinical environment that witnessed their parallel journeys of healing now serves as the backdrop for a romance that threatens to tear apart the delicate fabric of Salem's most prominent families, with Sami caught in the crossfire of emotions she never saw coming. Sami's world crumbles as love blooms. The devastating impact on Sami Brady cannot be overstated as she watches her former husband, the man who once shared her bed and her dreams, lavish attention and affection on a woman who represents everything Sami thought she had left behind. The bitter irony that Kat Green, masquerading as the beloved Abigail Devereaux, has now captured the heart of the very man Sami once called her soulmate creates a perfect storm of jealousy, betrayal, and heartbreak that reverberates through every corner of Salem society. Sami's shock manifests not just as emotional devastation but as a complete upheaval of her understanding of her place in E.J.'s life, forcing her to confront the painful reality that their shared history means nothing in the face of his newfound passion. The cruel twist of fate that brought Kat into their lives through deception and manipulation now threatens to become the foundation of genuine love, leaving Sami to question everything she thought she knew about the man she married and divorced multiple times. As E.J.'s feelings for Kat deepen beyond professional interest into something raw and undeniable, Sami finds herself relegated to the role of a spectator in a drama where she once held the starring role. The dangerous game of hearts and espionage. Beneath the surface of this brewing romance lies a web of espionage and deception that threatens to explode with catastrophic consequences as E.J.'s covert work for the ISA hangs in the balance like a sword over his head. Kat Green's own undercover mission to investigate E.J.'s financial dealings and long-term hospital plans creates a deadly dance of attraction and surveillance that neither participant fully understands. The professional boundary between E.J.'s role as Kat's new employer and their growing personal connection blurs dangerously as classified information and intimate moments become increasingly intertwined. E.J.'s precarious position as an ISA operative working within the DiMera empire requires absolute secrecy, yet his growing feelings for Kat threaten to compromise everything he's worked to achieve in the intelligence community. The delicate balance between maintaining his cover and pursuing his heart creates an impossible situation where one wrong move could result in exposure, prosecution, or worse, the complete destruction of his carefully constructed double life. Meanwhile, Kat's own investigation into E.J.'s activities for her ISA handlers puts her in the unique position of simultaneously falling for her target while gathering intelligence that could ultimately destroy him. The DiMera brothers battle for love. The explosive dynamic between Chad DiMera and his brother E.J. takes on new dimensions as both men find themselves inexorably drawn to the same enigmatic woman, recreating a pattern of romantic rivalry that has defined their relationship for years. Chad's growing attraction to Kat, despite her devastating impersonation of his deceased wife Abigail, demonstrates the powerful pull she exerts over the DiMera men, while E.J.'s calculated interest in potentially stealing yet another woman from his brother adds layers of family dysfunction to an already volatile situation. The photo shoot featuring all three characters together for the show's 60th anniversary serves as a visual metaphor for the complex emotional triangle that's developing, with Kat literally positioned between the two powerful brothers who represent different paths for her future. EJ's history of romantic interference, particularly his successful pursuit of Abigail while Chad battled his own demons, provides a troubling precedent for his current interest in Kat Green. The calculated nature of EJ's potential pursuit, driven by both genuine attraction and perhaps a desire to wound his brother, creates a toxic environment where love becomes a weapon and family loyalty crumbles under the weight of desire. Chad's vulnerable position, still grieving his wife while opening his heart to the woman who cruelly impersonated her, makes him particularly susceptible to the kind of emotional manipulation that EJ has perfected over the years. The ISA secret that could destroy everything. The revelation of EJ's clandestine work for the ISA represents a ticking time bomb that threatens not only his relationship with Kat but his entire existence within the DiMera family structure and Salem society. His dual allegiance to both the intelligence agency and his family's criminal empire creates an untenable situation where discovery would mean the end of everything he's built, including any future with the woman who's captured his heart. The irony that Kat herself works for the same organization, unbeknownst to EJ, adds another layer of complexity to their relationship that could either bind them together in shared purpose or tear them apart through conflicting loyalties. EJ's attempts to balance his covert operations while maintaining his public persona as a respected district attorney and DiMera heir require constant vigilance and deception that becomes increasingly difficult to maintain as his feelings for Kat intensify. The emotional vulnerability that love brings threatens to compromise the cool calculation and absolute secrecy that his ISA work demands, creating a perfect storm where personal happiness and professional duty stand in direct opposition. Should his secret be exposed, the consequences would extend far beyond personal embarrassment to include potential imprisonment, family exile, and the complete destruction of his political career and social standing. Love triangle explosion and Salem's future. The anticipated love triangle between Chad, Kat, and EJ promises to deliver some of the most intense dramatic moments in recent Salem history as three lives become inextricably entangled in a web of passion, deception, and family betrayal. Kat's position as the object of desire for both DiMera brothers places her at the center of a family feud that could reshape the power dynamics within one of Salem's most influential dynasties. The question of whether she'll choose the grieving widower who offers genuine emotional connection or the powerful district attorney who represents danger and excitement will determine not only her own fate but the future relationship between the DiMera brothers. The explosive potential of this romantic configuration becomes even more volatile when combined with the underlying espionage elements and Sami's emotional devastation, creating a perfect storm of drama that threatens to consume everyone in its path. As EJ struggles to manage his girlfriend situation while keeping his ISA activities secret, the pressure builds toward an inevitable confrontation that will expose every carefully guarded secret and force every character to choose between love, loyalty, and survival. The fallout from these revelations will undoubtedly reshape the landscape of Salem's most powerful families and leave lasting scars on everyone involved in this deadly game of hearts and espionage. Part 2. Days of Our Lives Recap, Friday, September 19, 2025. Tense encounters, painful truths, and a surprising proposal for the future. As another week in Salem comes to a close, the drama only grows deeper, and Friday's episode of Days of Our Lives delivers a whirlwind of emotions, unexpected run-ins, and schemes that leave characters shaken and audiences wondering what comes next. The heart of Salem Square saw secrets bubbling to the surface, old resentments stirring, and fragile hopes of new beginnings just barely glimmering through the cracks of betrayal. For longtime fans, this was one of those episodes that felt both classic and fresh, a reminder of why Salem stories continue to captivate after all these years. JJ and Gabi's explosive encounter. It all began with a flash of movement through Salem Square. Gabi Hernandez, always fiery, sped across the square in her usual hurry. JJ Devereaux, spotting her, quickly tried to smooth over whatever tension might have been lingering between them. He called out, offered an apology, though, true to form, Gabi wasn't about to let him off that easily. Gabi snapped back, her words sharp as ever. She reminded him of his lateness, of the distance that had grown between them. For Gabi, apologies offered weeks after the fact feel hollow, and JJ's timing couldn't have been worse. Still, beneath her anger, there was a flicker of recognition. This was JJ, someone she once trusted, someone she once leaned on. JJ, stung by her harsh words, briefly lost his temper, raising his voice. But almost as quickly as the anger had flared, regret crept in. He took his words back, swallowed his pride, and left before Gabi could unleash her final dismissal, those cutting 3 words, "Don't come back." Yet JJ didn't truly leave. Instead, he lingered, shadow-like, in the square. His presence felt heavy, uneasy, as if he himself didn't know why he remained. When Theo Carver arrived, the encounter grew even more uneasy. Theo glanced at JJ's badge and gun, a stark reminder of authority and responsibility, and wordlessly turned away, leaving JJ standing in the square with his own unease. The silence spoke volumes. JJ was a man both present and absent, caught between worlds of belonging and isolation. Alex and Brady, secrets at the pub. Meanwhile, at the pub, another storm was brewing. Alex Kyriakis, never one to stay quiet, sat across from Brady Black and laid out the entire story of the scam letter. What shocked Brady most wasn't the scam itself but the fact that everyone else had known about it, everyone except him. The sting of exclusion hit Brady hard. Always the outsider, always the so-called stepchild of the family, Brady's frustration boiled over. But Alex, ever the smooth talker, turned the tables. Instead of offering comfort, he redirected the blame back at Brady. He told him, in no uncertain terms, that he was isolated because he allowed himself to be. For Brady, the words cut deep. Still, appearances had to be kept. The 2 men shook hands across the table, a gesture that felt more like formality than reconciliation. Alex, perhaps too eager to move on, excused himself and rushed out, leaving Brady alone at the table, and it didn't take long for another storm to arrive. Gabi and Brady, the clash of wits. Enter Gabi. Ever calculating, ever stylish, she spotted Brady sitting alone and wasted no time making her move. With a carefree smile, she slipped into the seat opposite him, her tone playful, her demeanor feigning innocence. She asked about the Titan scam, acting as though she were merely curious, though both she and Brady knew better. He questioned her right back, and soon they found themselves locked in a battle of wits, 2 people both pretending to know nothing, while in reality each knew far more than they were letting on. But beneath the sparring, there was a softer moment. Brady, weighed down by feelings of failure, couldn't help but compare his struggles to the heroic deeds of his father, John Black. John saved lives, saved worlds, even saved Salem itself countless times. And here was Brady, fighting to keep a fashion company afloat. The comparison left him feeling small, unworthy, trapped in the shadows of greater men. Gabi, to her credit, tried to lift him up. She reminded him that maybe this was his chance to start fresh, to carve his own path, instead of measuring himself against impossible standards. But Brady clung to his sense of duty. He had to see Basic Black through. He couldn't walk away, not now. And that's when Gabi made her boldest move of the day. With a gleam in her eye, she leaned closer and suggested a partnership. Why not let her run both Gabi Chic and Basic Black? Together, they could take on Salem's fashion world like never before. The week ends with questions, not answers. By the end of Friday's episode, Salem was left buzzing with questions. JJ's return stirred old wounds. Theo's silent disapproval lingered in the air. Brady's self-doubt deepened, while Gabi's ambitions grew sharper than ever. And Alex, where exactly was he rushing off to, and what trouble might follow him next? For fans, the drama was as thick as ever, with characters caught between past mistakes and future opportunities. Friday's episode reminded us that in Salem, no apology comes without strings, no partnership without secrets, and no ending without the promise of another storm on the horizon. And so, another week of Days of Our Lives closes with tension unresolved, hearts unsettled, and viewers eager for what Monday will bring.